A massive thank you to Class, Benny, Clapsy, Jaden and Stefan for subscribing to the channel. If you want to be featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 10 of season 5 of the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. Yes, today we're head back to the iconic Belgian Grand Prix circuit. Very much looking forward to this one. We've got a couple of tracks that, yeah, generally I really enjoy racing on the F1 games, and fingers crossed that little run of momentum can continue, of course. If you missed out on the last video that went live earlier on in the week, I would definitely recommend going back and checking out. And as always, a massive thank you to all of you guys that have helped us hit 36,000 subscribers. We're now slowly making progress towards 37k, so if you aren't already and you do go on to enjoy, make sure you leave a like and get yourself subscribed for daily F1 2021 content, as well, of course, yeah, trying to hit 50k by the end of the year there. But all those intros out of the way then, spoilers from last time out's episode then, for the first time since round 3 of the year, we have reclaimed the lead of the Drivers' World Championship. Just 2 points between myself and Max Verstappen as we head in towards the Belgian Grand Prix. There, Lando Norris just 19 points behind us as well. He is certainly not out of this if he continues his good run of form in the second half of the year there. Max Verstappen finally having a bit of reliability issues there, finishing down in 10th place in the British Grand Prix there. We almost took the win until the car caught fire late on in the Grand Prix there. So not quite what we would have wanted at this stage of the year there. But still 3 wins apiece for myself and Max Verstappen there. Lando Norris with 2 wins and 2 second places as well. They're keeping very closely. You can see Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez there, as well as Sainz and Tsunoda, as well somehow as Pierre Gasly, all still battling it out for best of the rest. But yeah, Belgian Grand Prix this weekend though, we're going to have to change up a few components on the car there. You can see the control electronics, 92%. Yeah, we're definitely going to need some new ones of that. So I'm tempted. You know, reliability isn't looking particularly brilliant across a lot of parts on the car. I think what we might have to do this weekend is completely put a whole fresh engine in, take all the grid penalties, start from the back, and then we should have good power. Obviously, this weekend at Belgium, then we've got Monza as well, and then, of course, Singapore isn't so power dependent. So, trying to play the long game, we might have to lose the championship lead this weekend. But yeah, I think it's going to be worth it in the long run. Oh! Well, there we go then. Pierre coming in this morning with some big news at the Belgian Grand Prix. Hamilton, 10-time Formula 1 World Champion, the undisputed GOAT, at least by this series standards, of Formula 1. He's hanging up the gloves at the end of the year there, so we could see major changes up and down the Formula 1 paddock there. Mercedes are going to be having to try and pick up a new driver ready for Season 6 there, but Hamilton announcing his retirement here in Belgium, how's that going to shake things up later on in the year? Well, there we go then. Yeah, the team confirming 60 grid places worth of penalties this weekend. I'm sure we'll see some penalties for other drivers in the second half of the campaign. But yeah, 2 control electronics that have all but given up on us this year. Honda reliability hasn't been perfect, it must be said. But yeah, we just won't worry about qualifying them. We'll just dive in to the Belgian Grand Prix. But of course, got to get through free practice first. Safe to say, though, of course, if you want a fresh power unit in Formula 1, Spa's probably one of the best tracks to take it on. Spa and Monza, of course, probably 2 of the most power-dependent tracks on the F1 calendar. So overtaking, I mean, around the back markers, yeah, should be fairly plain sailing this weekend. Of course, yeah, with all the extra ponies, but you never know what might happen there. As, of course, Spa has had a bit of a remodel. The AI have been tweaked, of course, in the most recent patch as well, so hopefully they won't be absolutely OP through poo on there. But I don't think they patched Silverstone last time around, but they were certainly very OP through the old turn 1. But coming towards the end then of our track climatization lap, things gone pretty well so far. Mainly purple scores. They're a bit of a lift on the Stabilo there. We've walloped that wall, I think, 1 too many times before in this series, aka once. I think it was back towards, I think it was the final lap of last season's Grand Prix here. But yeah, in towards the final couple of corners, so down in towards the bus stop, braking just at the 100-meter board. Tip it in, get the car slowed down, rotate it through the second part, avoid the understeer. So difficult on the exit that final corner. And is that purple?
Great
yes, it
stuff.
is.
You pretty much nailed this circuit. This is a really strong foundation to build from over the weekend.
575 points there at the end of that run. I think, yeah, let's dive in then here to the Belgian Grand Prix. We're now just a few weeks away from the F1 2022 winter testing, and the F1 store has released all new lines celebrating the 2022 Chinese New Year. First of all, we've also now got the 2022 McLaren fanwear drop has finally been revealed. There's still different merch available from every team, and now there's 20% off any lines on the store as well if you use the code currently on your screens. Click the links down below if you want to go check it out.
Welcome along then to the Belgian Grand Prix, the race that gave us the maiden victory for the Jordan team in 1998. And in the same team, the phenomenal debut of a young Michael Schumacher. There's always something special around one of the many corners of this fan favourite circuit. Spa-Francorchamps then, a 4.35 mile tour of the Ardennes countryside with 9 right corners and 10 left corners, giving us a grand total of 19. Average lap speeds in the dry can reach about 145 miles per hour, but without a significant improvement in these conditions, we won't be seeing anything like that today. Alongside me to discuss all the action today is Anthony Davidson. Thanks for joining us, Ant, and tell me, you were down in the pit lane earlier. How do you think the track conditions are today?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Gasly, Sainz, Yuki Tsunoda, and Norris, Leclerc, Joe, Bottas, and Lewis Hamilton, Stroll, Russell, Daniel Ricciardo, and Ocon, Mazepin, Latifi, Callum Ilott, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Mick Schumacher, Schwartzman, Lundgaard, and Mr. Monaco. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Right, well, here we are then on the grid, ready for a very, very soggy Belgian Grand Prix there. The PTSD intensifies ever so slightly there. You can see, though, weather actually meant to go from wet to dry today, so there is going to be the potential, with a late safety car, with a well-timed safety car, you get the sense that anything can be possible here in Belgium. But of course, starting from the rear of the field, though, Max Verstappen, he's looking pretty comfortable there, pole position by over 4 tenths, and the only man to get a lap in under 100 seconds here. He is certainly feeling confident heading into this weekend, and really, for us, if we can try and pick up some good points, I think that'll be the key in the race here today. Stay within touching distance of Max, and then hopefully try and claw points back over the next couple of race weekends as well there. But starting from the back here in the Belgian Grand Prix, let me know down in the comments below where you think we'll finish this one. 5 red lights here in Belgium, and it's going to be lights out, and away we go. Can't really get off to a particularly bad start from the rear of the field, but everyone going right over to the outside in towards turn 1, so we will take our chances. Thank you very much. Up the inside of a handful of cars through turn 1. And straight into 18th place then. 4 spots gained on the exit of La Source. That's exactly what we like to see there, as both Williams going side by side down in towards Eau Rouge for the first time there. Big lift off. Just no idea what the grip level is going to be like at the start of this race. But looks like, yeah, Max Verstappen does still lead the way there. Oh, look at that. Very aggressive coming in from a couple of people up the top of the Kemmel straight there. I think that's Lance Stroll and Daniel Ricciardo there that were absolutely duking it out for about P12. But as we head down the other side, though, I'm not aware of us, how quick we're going to be. Why on earth is he going defensive? He sent it up the inside of his teammate, Nicholas Latifi there. We'll go around the outside of the pair of them, perhaps, and thank you very much. Around the outside of both Williams we go in one corner there. 3 wide at the start of the Belgian Grand Prix, and you absolutely love to see that. We have to navigate all these slower cars as quickly as possible. Here is now Mazepin and Esteban Ocon in their Alpines just in front of us. It's like Noah's Ark here, 2 by 2, as we head around this opening lap of the Belgian Grand Prix. But so far we've kept it clean and tidy. We absolutely need to get, confident with the car, work out what the grip's like in this race as well there, and yeah, see when the track is gonna dry out. But generally, yeah, this car's had pretty good pace in the wet this year. Generally, it's been very, very strong, as I think Lando Norris might have already made up a couple of spots off the start of this race. As we're now trying to gain on Esteban Ocon. Just to dabble the brakes as we head through Blanchemont there, but that is probably going to be flat out. As up the inside of the Frenchman we go. Get it slowed down nice and tidy there and just slam the door shut through the middle part of the bus stop chicane and out of the final corner. 22nd to 15th then by the end of lap 1. That has been a brilliant little start to this race. Oh, Rouge, yeah, it's all but flat out now, but as we head down the hill once more, Mazepin going defensive and moving around a bit more. I would really like to see from the Alpine down the straight, but all over the back of the Renault-powered car. Can we go slow in, fast out? Down in towards Pouillon. We have got a decent little run there, but that Alpine is not too slow down the straight. Or don't want to nudge that inside curb too often in this race, but yeah, just trying to apply some pressure there as everyone now is getting more confident. I think generally where we're going to be really, really strong against a lot of the AI is out of Stavolo. Again, just we seem to be able to use a lot more battery out of here than the AI tend to, so we've got to try and capitalise on that as this race goes on. Perhaps they're using a bit more than me up the Kemmel Straight and things like that. You just never quite know in this turbo hybrid era of Formula 1. They couldn't quite get close enough to Mazepin through Blanchemont, but we're going to have a look up the inside. Don't lock up the brakes, get it slowed down. And it's P14 now. 2 identical moves on the Alpines in 2 laps. Next up, Lance Strulovic. Oh, Stroll, big wobble as we head out of Pouillon there. That time round, don't want to be doing that too often.
Track is drying, but it's going to take a while to clear the standing water off the line. Don't start thinking about slicks just yet.
Yeah, so team, I mean, to be honest, Jeff, I can't say I was thinking about the slicks as it's still absolutely bucketing it down here, but can we get a run on the Aston Martin? Slow in, fast out on the exit of Stavolo and into the bus stop. Going to become our favourite place to make overtakes work in this Grand Prix. It's looking like it might, as trying to time the run this time on Lance Stroll there. As the AI just break that a little bit more than I would in through the final chicane.
On its way. There's about 10 more minutes of this rain.
Around the outside of the Aston Martin though, with a wheel dipped on the grass, but we get it slowed down. And that's going to be 3 moves in 3 laps then through the bus stop, or what used to be the bus stop, as we're just finding a bit more time lap after lap.
Running out of fuel before the end of the race. Start being a little conservative with the remaining fuel, please.
You'd really hope Jeff would get the idea that this thing is, I mean, it's basically a green car. It may as well be fully electric. It just sips through fuel, this V5 Challenger from 212 Motorsport, but Jeff still worries every week we're going to run out of fuel. Right, let's see if we can get a run then on Daniel Ricciardo as we head in towards Blanchemont. You can just see how much speed we're able to carry through there as the McLaren man. Is he going to go defensive? Yes, he is. So 2 moves on the inside. And we're about to make it 2 moves on the outside there. Through the final chicane we go. 4 moves in 4 laps. How often are we going to be able to keep this up today?
There's been an incident on track resulting in loose debris. Fortunately, the marshals have managed to clear it up in time and there are no plans for a safety car right now.
Not sure what's going on. Maybe a bit of contact up the road. Perhaps we could see someone struggling. Seems to be a gap between Guan Yu Zhou and the cars in front. So maybe he and one of the Ferraris have had a bit of a ding-dong. Oh, nice run down the hill, though, on George Russell. To the outside we'll look. Aston Martin's going to force us down wide. Are we going to be able to get the switch back on the exit of the next couple of turns? Lean on that curbing. Get all over the back of George Russell there, but we just can't get the run down the hill. And I think it's places like that where the AI just using a bit more battery than I'm tending to there. But George Russell, yeah, really struggling as we head through the twisty bits there. It's been a shame to see Aston Martin just never really sort of fighting towards the front. Their best moment in this entire series, of course, still came all the way back in Season 1, where Lance Stroll famously won the French Grand Prix there, and they just never, ever sort of hit the same success again in this series. They've just slowly but surely, sort of, as the top 5 teams have got better and better, they just have less and less chances to fight for the points here, but all over the back of young George. He might be lined up to go to Mercedes next year, a move that we've waited so many years for in my team there. But first lap where we're not going to make a move through the final chicane unless we can get the nose there. Russell does give us the room, and it might not be a move in the chicane, but we put the power down on the exit. We'll have P11, thank you.
Nice move.
Team happy with that. Hamilton next up, of course, the man who announced his retirement this weekend. Formula 1 is going to be a very different sport without him.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
Team recommended a new strap. saying lap 13 now for our pit stop. Not really too worried. I think we're just going to stay on these tyres until the dry period. Yes, I think you did just see me taking the F1 Esports line down in towards P1, but trying to close up to Hamilton. This time around we're a little bit further back, but I don't think it's going to hinder us too much, because of course these guys just lose so much through Blancham on there. Oh, we don't want to nudge the inside curb though. Still a little way behind Hamilton. To the inside we go though. Supreme bravery and confidence under braking. And we're now back up into the points then of the Belgian Grand Prix on just lap 6, so it has been a pretty good fight.
P10, you've moved up into P10.
As we're still finding more and more pace lap after lap at the moment. Guan Yu Zhou, Bottas and Leclerc next 3 up the road, and then there's a bit of breathing room ahead of them, so it'll give us a chance to try and close up to the next 4 cars. There is, yeah, Red Bull, you can just see, streaking off slightly into the distance. We need Lando fighting them as we just run a little bit wide through a Rouge.
Keep it up.
A Rouge and Radion. Still a very, very scary couple of corners. I'm interested to see how the remodel goes, however. All over the back then of Valtteri Bottas. We overtook his former teammate just 1 lap ago. But we're going to be able to get close enough to the Finn, who's actually had a pretty good run so far in his McLaren days. There, is he going to go defensive? Yes, he is, to the outside. And I mean, yeah, really, we're just doing this lap after lap at the moment, but it is still a very, very rewarding move as we're trying to push hard. Now into 9th place there as we start lap 8. That time round, we actually got a really nice run out of a Rouge and Radion. Are we going to be able to make a move that isn't into the bus stop here? Charles Leclerc in his Ferrari, aware of it as we head down the Kemmel straight round the outside, way later on the brakes. And we've just got so much confidence in this car at the moment there. And finally, it's an overtake that isn't into the bus stop. Next up, however, Guan Yu Zhou. That's not going to make any difference. DRS has apparently given up on me. Let's hope it doesn't get dry for a few more laps. I love the fact Jeff just doesn't even tell me about it. He's there like, yeah, it's not going to work. I don't care. If you're going to give me stick about moaning about the fuel, me and Jeff have a love-hate relationship that's pretty much all hate, I think, at this point. But anyway, less talking about waffle, more talking about trying to get past Guan Yu Zhou in this race. Are we going to be able to get close enough again through Blanchemont? I've said this so many times so far today. But, you know, another move up the inside won't hurt anybody. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Up the inside, P7. There's now, yeah, Lando Norris actually down in P6 at the moment. So I thought he was the one leading this little train of cars there. But turns out he's not. So next up on the old hit, this is going to be Lando. But we're 4 seconds back. So for the first time today at almost half race distance, we might get a couple of clear laps.
The weather's certainly eased off for the time being, but we've still got a lot of standing water out there. We're happy for you to stay out on the Inters for now.
Team happy for us to stay on the Inters, and to be honest, we need to try and get to Lando or stay a good few seconds back here, because of course we don't really want to have to double stack in the pits. And if we do, yeah, I'm going to lose out massively unless we can get round in beforehand. Still gaining though rather rapidly. We are in the groove this weekend. And look at that, just 1 lap in clear air. New fastest lap.
That's the fastest lap of the race so far.
And almost 2 seconds taking out the guys in front of us. We are definitely in the groove at the moment. Just, yeah, when the track gets wet, this car comes alive. And like I've said many, many times before, on a drying track is definitely where I feel strongest.
The track's drying, the track is drying. Let us know when it's time for slicks.
Oh, so there we go then. Team saying it's really our choice then when to move over to dry tyres. I think it's still going to be a couple of laps away for now, but yeah, really it would just be when the FIA enabled DRS will pretty much be the perfect time to make the change. Sorry, just see how much we're pushing through a Rouge and Rally on there, running a little bit wide on the exit of the corner, but like I said, we need to be ahead of Lando Norris before the track dries up here if we don't want to get held by our teammate.
We won't have enough fuel for the end of the race. Consider adopting a more conservative strategy to preserve what you have left.
I'll keep that in mind, Jeff. Thank you very much. Yeah, we're not going to do anything with that information. But yeah, Lando Norris now just in front of me. We have closed ourselves up through this little train. As it, yeah, Carlos Sainz actually trying to fight for a podium at the moment. Of course, in that titanic battle for P4 in the championship. We're definitely going to have enough fuel in the car to make it through to the end of this race. We can see Lando there, a bit of a wobble. He's trying to push. He knows the stakes are high at the moment, but yeah, just hoping he sort of realises perhaps he's going to have to play the number 2 role in the second half of this year if we want anything we can try and do to close up to that Red Bull. But doesn't look like it's getting dry enough just yet. Will be interesting to see when the AI do pit. Are any of them going to be stupid enough to pit onto a fresh set of the intermediates there? We've seen Red Bull botch quite a few strategies this year. It must be noted there is gaining on Lando Norris in towards the final chicane. And have I just jinxed it for Red Bull there as at the inside of Lando we go, and look at that, yeah, one of the Red Bulls has bought Gasly into the pits as well. So what's going on? Which Red Bull has made the call into the pits then at completely the wrong time in this Grand Prix? It is Max Verstappen. What is Red Bull doing again? We are now going to be ahead of Max Verstappen in this Grand Prix there as we send it up the inside of our teammate Lando Norris as well. But I think now what we have to do,
We'll receive you at the end of this lap.
it's not a completely fail-safe method on F1 2021, but if you say box pit confirm, often it won't allow your teammate to dive into the pit lane. And like I said, it's not a guarantee, but it often, yeah, won't let your teammate pit. And that'll mean, obviously, we can both try and stay out to the dry period here. So effectively, we're trying to control our teammates' race as well, actually taking the role of the team boss. But yeah, let's just see what happens there. I think we're going to see a lot more cars box this lap. But are they going to make the call onto dries? I don't think Verstappen did. I'm now going to feel really stupid if he's actually nailed the strategy and come out on a set of dry compound tyres there. Surely it's not dry enough yet to make him work. Track is still far too damp. And we're going to see the top three then into the box at the end of lap 12 here. I think Sergio Perez might be pitting in. Are we going to see Sainz and Tsunoda as well? Oh, Tsunoda, sorry. Very, very slow through the final chicane. So we are now going to inherit the lead of the Grand Prix. Unfortunately, Lando has pit as well there. So we are now going to have to try and extend this stint, see if we can make it work until the dry period. But what is going on in the Belgian Grand Prix?
The best in lap you can.
Team want us in at the end of this lap there, but we've now got effectively 8 seconds over Max Verstappen, if of course we can make it to the dry period. We're definitely going to be going on to a set of soft compound tyres to the end of the GP. But drama in the Belgian Grand Prix. Have we maybe just pulled off the greatest strategy we might ever do on F1 2021? There's still a long old way to go here in Belgium, but the gap to Verstappen isn't really coming down at all at the moment. I'm wondering, as these tyres are getting more and more worn, whether they're actually suiting these slightly less damp conditions here, and it's really starting to play into our favour. A bit like Turkey 2020, of course, with Hamilton and Perez, but yeah, we've just got to try and hang on for the moment. The gap now up to 8.8, but it can all go away very, very quickly.
Just focus on the driving.
Team saying, yeah, no tyre concerns, but I mean, if we had to, could we take these to the end? We could theoretically get these tyres to the end of the Grand Prix if it came to it. I don't think they'd be fun right in the dying stages, however. 9 laps to go here from Belgium. The gap's still 8 seconds.
I think we're still on the right tyres for the time being.
Jeff reckons, yeah, we're still on the right rubber then at the moment, so things... Oh, come on. Just got to try and keep it under control now and make sure we nurse these tyres in the latter stages of this race. This might well end up being a no-stop Grand Prix here in Belgium, as that was a lot of curb through a route. Lucky that didn't upset the rear end of the car. But yeah, gap not coming down still. Has Max Verstappen and Red Bull completely fumbled the bag here? Or will it all come back to him late on in the day? Nobody knows at the moment, but we have to make these bold calls if we want chances at race victories at the moment, as they have definitely just got a few more tenths than us in the back pocket in that Red Bull.
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up.
Yeah, I've got no idea where we're finding that sort of pace from at the moment, but track is still definitely getting a little bit drier lap after lap, but still a lot of rain on the visor, so we've got to make this just a few more laps. 7 more to go here, and yeah, definitely possible to get to the end, but we have got to be prepared to make the call to dries when necessary. To win races...
It's not a perfect situation, but I don't think we have cause to move on to a different tyre yet.
There we go. Bit of reassurance from Jeff, but yeah, as Ayrton Senna used to say, if you want to win races, you've got to be on the right tyre at the right time. Oh, we got yellow flags out. Oh, it's Perez! I think Perez has got issues again there. My heart almost just skipped a beat as I thought that might have been Max Verstappen, but Perez out of yet another Grand Prix there. He's had a pretty good, reliable run in recent Grand Prix, but the early season bad luck for Checo looks to be back there, as Max Verstappen still yet to have mechanical failure. Sergio Perez has had 3, I think, now this year, but Max Verstappen still P2 there. Going to promote Gasly up into P3 of the Grand Prix, so could he be on for yet another podium in this series ahead of Sainz and Tsunoda, as well as our teammate Lando Norris. But yeah, this really does help us out in the Constructors' Championship as well there, as Red Bull were looking like they weren't going to lose anything to us this weekend. At one point it was looking like they were going to gain a huge amount. But yeah, Sergio Perez out of the Grand Prix there, and Max Verstappen could have really done with that being a safety car. We got more yellow flags out. Who's now got issues in this race? Is it Yuki Tsunoda in his AlphaTauri? I think it is Tsunoda. Looks to be falling to the wayside here as well then in Belgium. So Honda power units not having fun this weekend, and perhaps that's a good omen that we did swap ours out. I mean, there's no way that control electronics would have made it throughout the entirety of this GP there, but still the gap to Verstappen opening up there as, yeah, the two other teams with Honda power going up in smoke. We just got to hope, yeah, myself and Lando Norris can hang on. That's not quite what we wanted, but unless we get a late safety car like we did in Paul Ricard, hopefully won't do too much damage. We better not get a safety car now if I've just jinxed myself. Tyre wear warning light has now come on as we cross over 60% wear. They're all pretty evenly worn though, which is often quite a reassuring thing on F1 2021, but we might just have to tone back the pace ever so slightly in these final couple of laps. We don't completely shred them, but what a race this has been up to now. I said on the grid, this race just gave me vibes of one of those ones where anything could be possible, and now with 3 laps to go here in Belgium, the gap's still 10 seconds there. Verstappen's starting to come back at me slightly, so we have got to be careful, as that is not quite the apex through T1.
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
Oh, there we go. Team now saying soft tyres might be doable. Is it worth the gamble late on? I don't really know if I want to pit yet. FIA haven't confirmed DRS has been re-enabled. Surely the track won't dry out too quickly. Oh, I'm so confused what to do. Oh, no. Oh, no, we're seeing AI into the box. Oh, no, we're not. There we go. DRS has now been enabled. We've only got one Haas car in. No, they're not even in.
DRS is now online.
I can't say you got to be on the right tower at the right time and then not box, surely. I'm going to look like such a mug. But, well, I mean, we're going to lose another 20 seconds and there's no way I'm going to be able to close that back up. We've got to stay out. We've got to do it. We'll see what the gap's like next lap. But, I mean, we've got 7 seconds to play with, even if Verstappen does pit. I mean, surely in 2 laps he can't make up a pit stop and even more. And actually looking at it, I don't think Verstappen's pit, so I think we've made the right choice there. So he sets new fastest lap of the Grand Prix.
Verstappen has just put up the fastest lap of the race so far.
Doesn't look like anyone's pitting then, so perhaps the team just trying to make me second guess ourselves here. No one's into the pits. So not too sure what that was all about then, but yeah, we almost threw this race away.
Fuel remaining. Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
Team are really pushing this to go onto the soft tyres, but it's just not worth it this late on in the day. Surely the AI can't make up what? It would end up being about 30 seconds in 1 lap once they have pit. And still, yeah, no one's boxing. Why do the team keep telling me go to dries if no one else is pitting in? Are they trying to screw me? I'm really not sure. I mean, there's no rain left. You can clearly see just a couple of droplets on the visor, but a lap and a half to go here from Belgium. And as always, this track is delivering some unpredictable conditions. Breaking down though, about to start the last lap of the Belgian Grand Prix then, and now we've just got to try and navigate another 4.4 miles then, 7 kilometres here in the mountains, but we've had such a weird race. Like I said on the grid, this seemed like one of those ones where anything could happen there. The team have tried to get us to box late on, and it's a good job we haven't.
A second a lap to the car behind. 1 second.
1 second to Max Verstappen. I'm not going to worry about here as the track is basically dry now, so we are doing a wet tyres dry track challenge on F1 2021. But I said on the grid, this race was going to be one of those ones where anything could happen, and it certainly has today. It was a brave and bold strategy called by. As you can see, the tyres are still not in particularly great shape and could easily still go on this final lap, but we absolutely had to roll the dice this weekend. You know, we had good pace. I think, to be honest, we have been fair and square the quickest car for most of the Grand Prix. Like I always say, when the track gets a bit damp, this thing really does come alive here. But as we head down the hill, just squeezing the throttle, being really gentle on the loud pedal there, as Max Verstappen is taking a bit more time out of me, but I don't think it's... well, it shouldn't be enough. No way can he gain 5 seconds in half a lap, surely there. But yeah, often strategies like this have come away from us on F1 2021. It doesn't happen often, but it looks like we're about to complete the no-stop in a My Team Career Mode race there, and of course, a last to first. It won't be the first one we've done on F1 2021, and I hope in many ways it's not going to be the last either. Max Verstappen's taking a lot of time out of me now though, but up towards Blanchimont and the bus stop for the final time here in the Belgian Grand Prix. It is certainly going to be a race to write home about. I said it was damage limitation. I never thought we'd end up coming in towards the final corners and taking away the 25 points here. But we have done it. We've kept it cool, calm and collected. And we're going to round the final corner to win the Belgian Grand Prix. Thank you very much.
Fantastic drive. Just fantastic. You deserved that race win.
A difficult race then on one of the all-time classic circuits, but they persevered to take the win here today. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I think we'll chalk this one up to a deft touch on the brake pedal. That's allowed them to challenge down the inside into the braking zones, and ultimately, if you do that often enough, you end up winning the race. It was great to watch as well though, wasn't it? Forget strategy, forget tyre management. Who doesn't love a good old-fashioned scrap?
Welcome then to the podium, our top 3 drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race. Mr. Monaco increases their championship lead. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. They demonstrated a very delicate touch in close proximity to other cars, as well as showing a lot of maturity and patience in difficult situations.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. The current leaders continue to extend their lead at the top. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
Well, there we are then, guys. The end of the Belgian Grand Prix. They're in 4 wins now this year in the My Team Season 5 there. And yeah, definitely the best one of the lot. Didn't quite, take fastest lap at the end there, but it was a last to first no-stop Grand Prix there. Sometimes knowing the rules of F1 really does come in clutch there. I'm sure Verstappen and Red Bull very, very gutted with that result, of course, after the penalty, finishing just 3 seconds behind there. Gasly again on the podium ahead of Carlos Sainz and Yuki Tsunoda there. Lando down in 6th ahead of Charles Leclerc, 3rd through 7th, all finished where they started in the Grand Prix there. And Hamilton 8th ahead of Valtteri Bottas and Daniel Ricciardo there. Both McLarens rounding out the top 10. Both Astons, then both Alpines, then both Williams, Alphas, and then of course both Haskars are rounding out your order there. So you can definitely see from anything lower than 8th, it all gets a bit predictable this season there. Just Guan Yu Zhou and Sergio Perez not making it to the checkered flag is heartbreaking for Red Bull and their Constructors' Championship bout there. But now we've got an 8-point lead over Max Verstappen as we head to the Temple of Speed next weekend. Lando Norris just falling away from this championship battle as well at the moment. There is now both Ferraris in 4th and 5th place there. Gasly still in 6th. That is definitely going to be a battle to watch out for between them, Tsunoda and Perez between now and the end of the campaign. Really, I do believe any of those drivers could finish in P4 in the championship and maybe just get close to Lando if they have a good run of form in the final few rounds of the campaign there. Constructors-wise, though, 47 now clear of Red Bull. The gap between Red Bull and Ferrari, basically the same gap as it is between us and them at the moment there. Not really many battles going on in the Constructors' Championship. I guess it's all just based on countback between the likes of Williams, Haas and Alfa Romeo there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, do make sure I leave a like and get yourself subscribed. And yeah, we'll be back very, very soon at the Temple of Speed. We head to Monza. It's often been a track that's robbed us of good results, but if Season 5's anything to go by, things might just be falling into place. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.